Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please welcome back Pamela Norr, the Executive Director of Access. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
All right, so we're talking about an idea that you guys are spearheading, would be the right word to put it?
That would be a good word for it, right.
Leading, yeah. So a regional homeless shelter. You know, we've all seen across the valley, you know, a lot more transients, people living on the streets, a lot of organizations locally kind of trying to help. Is this something everybody's working on?
Well, so the reason this came about, when we did the point-in-time count, the homeless count this past year, we noticed about a 16% increase. And I think everybody recognizes that there has been an increase. But in addition to that, there's so many people wanting to help support the effort. We've got municipalities and the faith-based community and nonprofits like myself and social service and the county. Everybody wants to work together to help this community, but there seemed to be a splintered discussion about sheltering. Somebody wanted to do it in their community and another organization wanted to do it in their community, and it seemed like there were a lot of people saying that. So in combination with the continuum of care, I said, let's get together and discuss whether a regional shelter might be a possibility, because then you're pooling resources, you're pooling funding, it's in a place that all the communities can agree upon, and we've got the planners and the coding and the cities and the county behind the effort. So we started this conversation, I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now, and we invited about 45 people from a variety of organizations, municipalities, etc. And we had about 32 show up and started a very lively conversation about what this could look like.
Yeah, it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, if you will. It's hard to get everybody on the same page. You know, I'm going to ask you a few questions you may not know the answers to right now, but location, has that been finalized?
It hasn't. So we're just kind of beginning that process. And of course, you know, hot weather and smoke, and there's the opportunity for a cooling shelter as in addition to a warming shelter this winter. But we need to move on it pretty quickly if we want to make it for this upcoming cold weather session. So we're looking at that. We're actually having another meeting this week, and we're hoping that we can start identifying that and funding resources and kind of that wraparound service of like who's going to provide the social service to those that are in the shelters and help them move to that next step. How do they get out of a situation that represents homelessness?
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
We'll have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Pam Norr. We're talking about this regional homeless shelter, which is in the discussion phases. And we, as you mentioned, a lot of social service, a lot of municipalities, a lot of organizations, 32 people in the room when you guys had that recent meeting. How is everyone working together well? Is there common ground enough to see something like this through?
I think there is common ground. I mean, I think that when you put that many people in a room with differing opinions and coming at it from different regions or organizations, I think you're going to have some lively discussion. But I think that there is commonality. The goal, the purpose is very similar in that those that are in the room want to help and want to make a difference and want to make our community a safer, better place to be. And I think that will lead us to that place. Okay, and what would you say, I know it's early, but what would you say is going to be the biggest obstacle in this process? Well, funding. That's always the answer to everything. But I think funding will be not a barrier, but a challenge for this group. We may have to get creative. Access, I put aside quite a large amount of money, about $1 million, to support a shelter for this coming year. And so that's a fair amount of money, but it's not enough. We would want to buy a building or lease a building, and then there's how do you run the program, and then how do you do that wraparound service to help people move on to the next step if they want to. But there's food, and I mean, there's just a whole bunch of moving parts to that. So that isn't all of the funding that's needed. In addition to that, we don't want it to be, you know, episodic. We want it to continue on in our community. So we need to establish how that's going to work. Okay, and is there any timelines? I know you mentioned, I think in part one, about winter is not that far away. It'll be here before we know it, that sort of thing. Yeah, cooler weather place would be great. Would it be possible to get something going in months, or are we talking years? No, I hope we're talking months. I mean, I think even if it's something for this year to tide us through till the next year to get that process started, I think that's the goal. There's the community will in this group to really see this through, and so I'm hopeful. I'm very optimistic that this is going to happen. A more permanent situation might take a little bit longer. Okay, well, it's certainly going to be fascinating to watch it all unfold. It will, and I'm just so grateful to everybody who's participating, because we just want to try and find a solution. Certainly. Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.